Can we learn to recognize animals' early warning signs to avoid potential threats? Imagine you're hiking through a forest. Suddenly, the birds stop singing. The monkeys begin screaming from the treetops. A herd of deer freezes, staring in one direction. Would you keep walking? For thousands of years, humans survived by paying attention to nature. Before weather forecasts, security cameras, and satellites, animals often served as our first warning system. But is this just an old myth? Or can animals really detect danger before we can? Today, we'll explore whether learning to recognize animals' warning signs could help us avoid potential threats, and where science supports these fascinating observations. Animals rely on survival instincts every single day. Unlike humans, who often depend on technology, animals constantly monitor their surroundings using senses that are sometimes far more sensitive than ours. Many species can detect tiny changes in sound, vibrations in the ground, changes in air pressure, unusual smells, movements invisible to us. Whenever they sense danger, their behavior changes almost instantly. These reactions can provide clues, not because animals predict the future, but because they often notice changes before we do. Let's look at some fascinating examples. 1. Birds suddenly become silent. If you've ever walked in a forest, you've probably noticed birds singing constantly. But when a predator approaches, such as a snake, fox, or large cat, the forest may suddenly become silent. Birds stop singing to avoid revealing their location. Experienced hunters and wildlife researchers often recognize this silence as a sign that something unusual is nearby. 2. Deer freeze and stare. Deer have excellent hearing and smell. When they sense danger, they often stop moving completely. Instead of running immediately, they stare toward the possible threat while listening carefully. If you notice several deer behaving this way, it may be worth becoming more alert yourself. 3. Monkeys sound alarm calls. Many monkey species have different alarm calls for different predators. One call may warn of an eagle. Another may signal a leopard. Yet another may indicate a snake. Researchers have found that other animals, even different species, often understand these alarm calls and react accordingly. Nature has developed an incredible communication network. 4. Dogs sense trouble. Dogs can often hear sounds humans cannot. They may bark before someone reaches your door or become restless during thunderstorms long before the storm arrives. Some trained dogs can even detect certain medical emergencies such as seizures or dangerously low blood sugar through changes in scent. Their senses are truly remarkable. 5. Elephants detect distant vibrations. Elephants can sense low-frequency vibrations traveling through the ground. These vibrations allow them to communicate across long distances and may also help them detect approaching herds or other disturbances. Stories from around the world describe animals behaving strangely before earthquakes, tsunamis, or volcanic eruptions. For example, before the devastating Indian Ocean tsunami in 2004, many people reported that elephants moved to higher ground and birds flew inland. Scientists continue to study these reports. One possibility is that animals detect ground vibrations, low-frequency sounds, changes in underground water, electrical changes in the atmosphere. However, there is still no reliable scientific evidence that animal behavior alone can consistently predict natural disasters. Their unusual behavior should be considered an interesting observation, not a replacement for official warning systems. The answer is yes, to a certain extent. People who spend years in nature, such as wildlife trackers, indigenous communities, forest rangers, and experienced hikers, often learn to notice subtle changes in animal behavior. They pay attention to sudden silence, alarm calls, animals fleeing together, unusual movement patterns, changes in insect activity. These observations don't make someone psychic. They simply make them more aware of their environment. The more carefully you observe nature, the more patterns you begin to recognize. Animals don't possess magical powers. but millions of years of evolution have made them incredibly sensitive to changes in their surroundings. By learning to recognize their warning signs, we may become more aware of potential dangers, whether it's a nearby predator, an approaching storm, or something unusual happening in the environment. The next time you're outdoors, don't just look at nature. Listen to it. Watch it. Because sometimes, the forest notices danger before we do. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who loves nature and wildlife. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.